The afternoon I left work early, my head was pounding with a migraine that made every light feel unbearable. My manager insisted I go home and rest, something that never happened in my accounting firm. As I drove through the quiet streets to our suburban home, I was already thinking about taking medicine and sleeping before dinner time. I arrived around 3 in the afternoon, noticing the front door was unlocked. Nothing unusual, my husband often worked remotely. But his car wasn't in the driveway, so I assumed he'd stepped out for errands. I walked inside, set my bag down on the entry table, and that's when I heard voices coming from the living room. One of them was unmistakably my sister's laugh. I moved forward, my mind still clinging to innocent explanations. Maybe she'd stopped by for a visit. But my body already sensed the truth. My hands were trembling before I even reached the doorway. They were on the couch together. His shirt was discarded on the floor. Her dress was pushed up around her waist. When my sister finally noticed me standing there, she didn't scramble or panic. She just looked at me with mild annoyance, as if I'd interrupted something trivial. My husband sat up slowly, making no effort to cover himself. No shame, no surprise, just weary acceptance. How long has this been going on? My voice sounded like it belonged to someone else. 14 months, he said flatly. Give or take. 14 months. While I'd been working 60-hour weeks to help pay off his student loans. While I'd been hosting family dinners where we all sat together like everything was normal. While I'd been planning our anniversary trip and asking my sister for advice on vacation destinations. I'm not going to apologize, my sister said suddenly, her chin lifted defiantly. You can't control who you fall in love with. The word love felt like a slap. You're my sister, I said, my voice breaking. And he was never really yours, she replied coldly. Not in any way that actually mattered. You were always too busy with work, too focused on your career. Someone had to actually be there for him. My husband didn't defend me. He just stood there buttoning his shirt, watching me with something that looked like pity. I want you both out. Now. This is legally my house too, he said calmly. You can't just kick me out. Then I'll leave. Fine. That was it. No tears, no apologies. My sister picked up her purse, kissed him on the cheek right in front of me, and walked out without another word. I stood alone in that living room as afternoon sunlight streamed through the windows. Everything looked exactly as it had that morning, the throw pillows I'd arranged, the framed photos on the mantel, our wedding picture smiling back at me. The normalcy of it all made everything worse. Somehow, my migraine had disappeared. I couldn't feel anything at all except this vast, hollow numbness where my life used to be. Eventually, I called my mother. She would help me make sense of this. She always did. Mom, I need you, I said when she answered. What's wrong? I came home and found, my husband and my sister have been together for over a year. Silence stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. Mom? Well, she said finally, her voice tight. These things happen. We'll talk about this later. I'm in the middle of something. She hung up. That night, I checked into a cheap motel near the highway that smelled of old cigarettes and chemical cleaners. I lay on the worn bedspread, staring at the stained ceiling, and realized I was completely, utterly alone. For 3 days, I barely left that motel room. I called in sick to work for the first time in years. I couldn't eat, couldn't think straight. My mind kept replaying moments I'd dismissed, the way my sister always dressed up for casual family dinners, how my husband always seated her next to him, how she'd touch his arm when she laughed at his jokes. Last Thanksgiving, I'd fallen asleep on the couch after working late all week. When I woke at midnight, my sister's car was gone. At the time, I thought nothing of it. Now I saw it differently. She'd volunteered to help clean up, he'd stayed behind too. How long had they been alone together while I slept 20 feet away? The business trips. I traveled monthly for work, usually 3 or 4 days at a time. My sister had started checking in on my husband. You work so hard, she'd said. Someone should make sure he's eating real food. I'd been grateful. I'd actually thanked her for keeping him company while I was away. My 15-year-old son was the hardest part. When I finally called him, his voice was cold and distant. Are you coming home? He asked. I don't know where home is anymore. Dad said you walked out. Did he tell you why? Silence. Your father and your aunt have been having an affair for over a year. More silence. Then quietly, I kind of knew. Those 4 words shattered something inside me. You knew? I mean, I didn't know for sure. But I saw the way they looked at each other. I thought maybe I was imagining it. Why didn't you tell me? I don't know. I thought maybe it would go away. And you were never around anyway, Mom. I hung up without saying goodbye. 3 days later, my father called, not to check on me, but to summon me to a family meeting at my parents' house. When I arrived, my sister and my husband were already there, sitting side by side on the couch. Her hand was on his knee. My son sat in the armchair, refusing to meet my eyes. There was no seat left for me, so I stood in the doorway. We're here to handle this situation with minimal damage to the family, my father announced. Minimal damage? I repeated. My husband cheated on me with my sister for over a year. These things happen, my mother said quickly. People fall in love. It's unfortunate, but it's nobody's fault. Your sister has always been more emotionally fragile, my father added. You've always been the strong one. You can handle this. My sister spoke up, tears streaming down her face. I never meant to hurt you, but we can't help how we feel. Do you think this has been easy for me? The guilt? I've been suffering too. My mother immediately comforted her. Sweetheart, don't cry. What about me? I asked. You'll be fine, my father said. You always are. You're resilient. You have your career. Your sister needs us. She needs family. They wanted me to agree to an amicable divorce. Split assets fairly. My son would live with his father during the week since the house was closer to his school. I could have him on weekends. What happens now? I asked, emotionally exhausted. You agree to a clean divorce, my husband said. We sell the house, split the proceeds, and work out reasonable custody. I looked at my son one more time. He still wouldn't meet my eyes. Fine, I said. I'll sign whatever you want. But I'm done with all of you. Don't be childish, my father said. We're still family. No, I said quietly. We're not. I walked out. Nobody followed. Nobody called my name. Within weeks, I found a tiny studio apartment in a rundown neighborhood for $800 a month, half my previous mortgage, but it felt like a fortune on my reduced budget. I moved in with 2 suitcases and my laptop. I slept on an air mattress and ate cereal standing at the counter because I had no table. My commute became a nightmare, 2 buses and a train, nearly 2 hours each way. I left at 6 in the morning and got home after 8 at night. My coworkers stopped asking if I was okay. The answer was obvious. My son was supposed to visit the first weekend. I'd bought his favorite snacks and planned to make pancakes. He texted me Friday, can't make it this weekend. Got plans with friends. Sorry. The next weekend, Dad's taking me to a concert. Maybe next time. The one after that, really behind on homework. Need to focus. I stopped planning for his visits. 3 months in, I was barely surviving. One Saturday, with nothing to do, I found myself staring at my thrift store mixing bowls and the hot plate in my tiny kitchen. I'd always enjoyed baking, my grandmother had taught me when I was young. It was one of the few pure memories I had left. I made a simple chocolate cake. As it baked, the apartment filled with a smell that felt almost like comfort. When I pulled it out and tasted a slice, I was surprised. it was really good. My elderly neighbor knocked on my door an hour later. I could smell that through the walls. Haven't had homemade cake in years. I gave her a slice. She closed her eyes as she ate it. Lord, that's good. You should sell these. I'm not that good, I said automatically. Sugar, I've lived 73 years. I know good cake. You could make money with this. That night, lying on my air mattress, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I needed extra income desperately. And I needed something, a purpose beyond just surviving. I started small, bringing cupcakes to work and selling them for $2 each. They sold out immediately. I opened an Instagram account called Fresh Start Bakery and posted photos of cakes made in my cramped kitchen. The lighting was terrible and the angles were amateur, but somehow it felt honest. My first real order came from a coworker who wanted a birthday cake. She paid me $60. I spent $40 on better ingredients and pocketed $20. It felt like winning the lottery. For months after the divorce was finalized, I was making an extra $400 to $500 a month. Enough to stop eating cereal for dinner, to buy new work clothes, to feel like maybe I wasn't drowning anymore. 6 months in, the orders were consistent enough that I quit my accounting job to focus on baking full-time. The decision terrified me, no safety net, no benefits, but I couldn't sustain that commute anymore. For the first time since that horrible afternoon, I was building something that was completely mine. Something nobody could take away. 8 months into Fresh Start Bakery, a bride contacted me. Her original baker had canceled last minute due to a family emergency. The wedding was in 3 weeks. I should have said no, a wedding cake was beyond anything I'd attempted. But she was desperate and crying on the phone, and the deposit was more than I made in a good month. I said yes. Those 3 weeks, I barely slept. I practiced fondant techniques until my hands cramped, watched tutorials at 2 a.m. The wedding was on a Saturday in June. When the bride saw the cake, she cried happy tears. It's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. She posted photos that night and tagged my Instagram. By Sunday morning, I had 200 new followers. By Monday, 15 messages requesting quotes. One message came from a food blogger with 30,000 followers who'd been at the wedding. She wanted to feature me in her local artisan series. This is the story, she said. Woman rebuilds her life from nothing. Creates beautiful things in impossible circumstances. It's inspiring. The feature went live 2 weeks later, raw, honest, hopeful. Photos of me working in that cramped space, flour on my cheek, smiling genuinely for the first time in months. Orders exploded. 20, 30 requests a day. Within a month, I'd rented actual commercial kitchen space. For the first time since the divorce, I felt like I was winning. I should have known better. My sister had been watching every Instagram post, every success, every comment praising me. She'd been obsessively screenshotting everything, showing it to my ex-husband. They were living together by then, newly engaged. But my sister wasn't happy. The more I succeeded, the angrier she became. The first bad review appeared 3 weeks after the blog feature. 1 star, found a hair in my cake. Absolutely disgusting. Do not order from this place. I was horrified. I apologized profusely and offered a full refund. The customer never responded. Then another review, cake was dry and flavorless. Waste of money. And another, unprofessional. Showed up late and cake was damaged. I hadn't delivered any damaged cakes. Hadn't had any complaints about dryness. But the reviews kept coming, all 1 star, all vague enough to seem believable. My Instagram comments started filling with trolls. Guess the sob story was fake. Anyone can take pretty pictures. Orders started canceling. New inquiries dried up. The worst came 2 weeks later. A customer I delivered to the day before called me, her voice shaking. I need to send you a photo. The photo showed the cake I'd made, beautiful, exactly as ordered. But on the side of the box was a cockroach, dead, positioned perfectly for the camera. I opened the box and saw this, she said. I can't serve this at my daughter's birthday party. I knew my kitchen. I knew my standards. There was no way a cockroach had gotten into that box. It had been planted. But I couldn't prove it. The customer posted the photo to her social media, tagging my business. It went viral locally. Local baker delivers cake with cockroach. My commercial kitchen got inspected immediately. They found nothing wrong, of course. But the damage was done. My Instagram became a battlefield. More orders canceled. The waiting list evaporated. My savings started draining. I sat on the floor of that empty kitchen one night, orders down to almost nothing, trying to understand what I'd done wrong. I didn't know yet that my sister had orchestrated everything, paid people to make fake orders and leave bad reviews, hired someone to follow my delivery route and plant the cockroach. All of it calculated to destroy me exactly when I was finally climbing out of the hole she'd thrown me into. 2 months after the sabotage started, Fresh Start Bakery was barely surviving. I'd lost 70% of my business. I was behind on rent for the commercial space, considering going back to corporate accounting. My sister posted photos from her bridal shower during this time, all smiles. Nobody mentioned me. Nobody cared that I was drowning again. Then everything changed. My son was home alone when he found it. His father and my sister had gone out to dinner, leaving him behind as usual. He was looking for his phone charger when he saw my sister's phone on the coffee table, unlocked, open to a text conversation. Right there at the top, he saw my name. He scrolled up and read everything. His aunt laughing about the cockroach incident, bragging about paying someone $50 to plant it, screenshots of negative reviews she'd written herself, links to fake customer profiles. The sanctimonious little bakery queen is finally getting what she deserves, one message read. She always thought she was so much better than me. I can't believe how easy it was to destroy everything she built. A few fake reviews and one well-placed bug. Pathetic. My son kept reading. The messages went back months. Detailed plans. My sister discussing strategy with my ex-husband. Him suggesting which delivery routes to follow. And near the bottom, your son doesn't suspect anything, does he? My ex's reply, he's a kid. He doesn't notice anything. Besides, he's on our side now. She lost him all by herself. My son told me later that he just sat there staring at that message, finally remembering everything I'd done for him, waking at 5 to make his favorite breakfast, working late but always calling to say goodnight, never missing his soccer games. And he'd chosen them. The people actively trying to destroy me. When they came home 30 minutes later, he was standing in the living room holding her phone. I read it, he said, voice shaking. All of it. What you did to her. My ex's expression hardened. Put that down. That's private. Private? You destroyed her business. You hired someone to sabotage her. You laughed about it. You don't understand, my sister said quickly. It's complicated. I read what you wrote. How you bragged. How you thought it was funny. Give her the phone, my ex said sharply. Now. Why? So you can delete the evidence? Watch your tone. You said I chose to leave her. You said she lost me all by herself. But you were destroying her the whole time. My sister started crying. We didn't mean for it to go this far. I'm going to Mom's, my son said. No, you're not. Yeah, I am. Tonight. It's a school night. Her place is too far. I don't care. We've given you a good life here, my ex said tightly. What does she have? A studio apartment in a bad neighborhood? She has the fact that she isn't a lying piece of. My ex moved fast, getting in his face. I'm still your father. You will not speak to me that way. Then act like one. They stared at each other. My son realized in that moment his father didn't actually care about him, he was just another possession to take from me. I'm leaving, my son said quietly. I'm packing a bag and going to Mom's. If you try to stop me, I'll send these screenshots to everyone. Family, friends, your work, Mom's old customers. Everyone. My sister made a small sound. You wouldn't, she whispered. Try me. He went to his room, packed a backpack, and walked out. He took a bus, then another, then a train. 90 minutes to my neighborhood. When he knocked on my door at almost 11 o'clock, I barely recognized him. He looked younger, smaller. His eyes were red. Mom, he said. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Can I come in? I didn't answer. I just pulled him inside and held him while he sobbed. We sat on the air mattress until 3 in the morning. Him talking, me listening. He showed me every screenshot he'd taken, the messages, the plans, the cruel jokes. Evidence of everything. I didn't cry. Instead, I felt something cold and clarifying settle in my chest. When he finally stopped talking, I made him look at me. I'm glad you're here, I said. But I need you to understand something. You destroyed me when you left. You chose them over me when I needed you most. I can't just pretend that didn't happen. He nodded, tears starting again. I know. I'm sorry. Sorry isn't enough, I said. If you want to stay, if you want to rebuild what we had, it's going to be on my terms. Okay, he whispered. You'll live here. This tiny apartment. You'll sleep on the couch. You'll take the bus to school even though it's 2 hours each way. You'll work in the business every weekend for free, learning what it means to build something from nothing. He nodded, wiping his face. No allowance, no new sneakers just because you want them. You'll learn to budget, to save, to work for what you want. And most importantly, you'll learn that actions have consequences. That you can't just say sorry and expect everything to go back to normal. I understand, he said. Do you? Because this isn't going to be easy. Your father's house had everything. Here we have barely enough. I don't care about that stuff anymore. We'll see, I said. The next morning, we went through the screenshots carefully. My son had been thorough, dozens of messages, clear evidence of coordination, proof of payment for fake reviews. What are we going to do with these? He asked. I thought about it. The vindictive part of me wanted to blast them all over social media immediately. But I'd learned something. Public revenge feels good for a moment, but it doesn't rebuild what was lost. We're going to be smart, I said. We're going to use them to tell the truth. But we're going to do it right. I drafted a video script, simple, direct, emotional but controlled. My son wanted to be in it, to apologize publicly. Are you sure? I asked. Once this is out there, it's out there. Good, he said. Let them see. We filmed it on my phone in the commercial kitchen. I explained what had happened, the sabotage, the fake reviews, the planted evidence, the systematic destruction of my business. I didn't name names. Anyone who knew our family would understand. Then my son spoke, his voice shaking but steady. I'm her son, he said. And I abandoned her when she needed me most. I chose the people who were hurting her. I didn't ask questions. I didn't defend her. He paused. I'm not asking anyone to forgive me. I'm just asking you to know the truth. My mom didn't fail. She was sabotaged. And she's still here, still fighting. If you gave her business a chance before, please give it another chance now. We posted it Monday morning. By noon, 5,000 views. By evening, 50,000. The comments became a war zone. People defending us, some calling us liars, others sharing their own stories of betrayal and survival. Former customers came forward saying the bad reviews had seemed suspicious. The food blogger reached out, I'm sorry. Can I do a follow-up piece? Yes, I said. But only if you come see the operation yourself. She came that week, spent a whole day watching me work, interviewing customers, documenting everything. The piece she published was scathing toward my saboteurs without naming them, and glowing toward the business. Orders started trickling back. Then faster. People who'd canceled wanted to try again. New customers wanted to support the comeback. My son kept his promise. Every weekend in the kitchen with me, learning to measure ingredients, to pipe frosting, to handle orders. He wasn't naturally good at it. He dropped things, mixed up orders, got frustrated. But he kept showing up. The 2-hour commute wore him down. He'd come home exhausted, still have homework, then help me prep for the next day. He lost weight. Dark circles appeared under his eyes. You can go back, I told him one night. Your father's house is closer. He looked up, eyes fierce. I'm not going back. Ever. 3 months after he moved in, we had a real conversation. Do you hate me? He asked one Saturday night. No, I said honestly. But I'm still hurt. Still angry. You can't erase what happened just by working hard for a few months. I know. I just need you to know I see it now. How hard you worked. How much you sacrificed. How badly I messed up. I see you trying, I said. That matters. Does it matter enough? Ask me in a year. 6 months after the video, Fresh Start Bakery was back. Not just surviving, thriving. We'd recovered most of the lost business and gained new customers. I hired part-time help, got caught up on rent, started saving again. My son turned 16. I couldn't afford a car or a big party, but I made him a cake, his favorite chocolate with peanut butter frosting, and we ate it together in the apartment. Thank you, he said. For what? For letting me come back. For not giving up on me. You're my son, I said simply. I was always going to let you come back. But you had to earn staying. Have I? I looked at him, really looked. The boy who'd abandoned me was gone. In his place was someone harder, humbler, more aware. You're getting there, I said. And for the first time in over a year, I smiled at him without reservation. I found out about my sister's pregnancy through social media. A perfectly staged photo, her hand on her barely visible bump, my ex-husband's hand over hers. Our greatest adventure begins. Baby arriving February. My son showed me without saying anything, watching my face. Are you okay? He asked. I was surprised to realize I was. No jealousy, no fresh pain. Just distant pity. Yeah, I said. I'm okay. What I didn't know was that the photo had been my sister's desperate attempt to lock him down before he could slip away. It didn't work. 3 months later, I heard rumors that my ex had been seen at restaurants with a woman from his office. Young, pretty, laughing at his jokes. We're divorced, I reminded the person who told me. What he does isn't my business anymore. But my son started hearing things too. Friends whose parents knew my ex whispers that he was cheating again. Do you think it's true? My son asked me one night. Probably, I said. People don't change. Not really. My sister was 5 months pregnant when she confronted him. My ex called my son one evening, drunk, rambling about how my sister was overreacting. She saw messages on my phone, made a scene. I told her the truth. I'm not happy. She's too needy, too emotional. It's exhausting. My son hung up without saying goodbye. The divorce moved fast. My ex had everything protected this time, prenup, assets and trusts, money moved into accounts my sister couldn't touch. She got nothing. Not the house, not his retirement, not even meaningful child support. His lawyers argued she was capable of working, that they'd only been married 18 months. By the time the baby was born, my sister was living in a small apartment, working 2 jobs, retail during the day, cleaning offices at night. The baby went to a neighbor who probably ran an unlicensed daycare. Her social media went quiet. My parents, who'd been so quick to support her before, were suddenly too old and tired to help much. The man she destroyed her sister for had left her pregnant, broke, and alone. And nobody felt sorry for her. I didn't take pleasure in it. Not the way I thought I would. Mostly I just felt tired. But my son had a different reaction. She deserves this, he said one day. Everything that's happening to her. Maybe, I said. But that baby didn't deserve any of it. He was quiet. Then, do you ever think about meeting him? My brother? No, I said honestly. He's not my responsibility. Not my family. But he's mine. Kind of. That's your choice to make, I said. Not mine. About a year after my sister's baby was born, my mother called for the first time in months. How are you? She asked carefully. Fine. Busy. The business is doing well. Yes. Long pause. Your sister is struggling. I know. She's working 2 jobs now. The baby stays with strangers most days. She's exhausted. Okay, I said neutrally. Don't you care? Should I? She's your sister. She stopped being my sister when she slept with my husband, I said. And definitely when she tried to destroy my business. People make mistakes. This wasn't a mistake, Mom. It was years of choices designed to hurt me. She's paying for it now. Good, I said, and meant it. My mother made a small sound. When your father and I are gone, you and your sister will only have each other. Then I guess I'll be alone, I said. I'm used to it. She hung up shortly after. Didn't call again. I didn't see my sister in person for almost 2 years. Then one Saturday afternoon, I was at the grocery store, the nice one I could finally afford, with my son, laughing as we picked ingredients for next week's orders. I turned the corner into the produce section, and there she was. I almost didn't recognize her. The sister I remembered had always been perfectly put together. The woman standing in front of the discount vegetable bin looked like she'd aged 10 years. Hair in a messy ponytail, roots showing, no makeup, sweatpants and a stained t-shirt. Her face was gaunt, exhausted. She had a baby in a worn carrier on her chest, sleeping. In one hand, a calculator. In the other, she was picking through damaged vegetables marked down, adding up prices, putting items back, calculating every dollar. My son saw her too. Stopped mid-sentence, frozen. She looked up, saw us. Nobody moved. Then her face did something complicated, shame, anger, desperation. I have to go, she said, abandoning her cart and walking quickly toward the exit. Wait, my son called, but she was gone, practically running, the baby bouncing against her chest. We stood there, me holding organic strawberries that cost more than her entire cart probably did. Should we have said something? My son asked. I don't know, I said honestly. That night over dinner, he said, she looked really bad, Mom. I know. The baby was in a carrier that looked like it came from a thrift store. And she was shopping damaged produce. I saw. Don't you care? I thought about it. Really thought. Part of me does. The part that remembers us as kids. But mostly I just feel nothing. She made choices. Those choices had consequences. But the baby didn't make any choices. No, I agreed. He didn't. My son pushed food around his plate. I'd been thinking about trying to meet him. My brother. Okay. Would that be okay with you? He's your family, I said. Not mine. You get to decide. 3 months after the grocery store encounter, my mother called with a different tone. Desperate. Your sister's power got shut off, she said without preamble. She couldn't pay the bill. It's winter. She has a baby. Why are you telling me? Because your father and I can't help. We're already covering her rent this month. So you want me to pay her power bill? She's your sister. That baby is your nephew. No, I said simply. He's not. And she's not my sister anymore. How can you be so cold? I learned from the best, I said. You and Dad taught me that family doesn't mean anything when it's inconvenient. I'm just applying those lessons. We were wrong, my mother said, voice breaking. We should have supported you. We're sorry. Okay, I said. Doesn't that matter? Not really. Sorry doesn't pay back rent. It doesn't undo the sabotage. It doesn't give me back the 2 years I spent barely surviving. So you're just going to let her suffer? I'm going to let her experience exactly what she wanted me to experience, I said. The difference is I didn't do anything to deserve it. She did. My mother hung up crying. My son had overheard. Do you really not feel anything? I feel tired, I said. I'm tired of being expected to be the bigger person. To forgive. To help. To care. I did that my whole life, and all it got me was betrayed. So what now? Now? Nothing. We keep building our life. And we let her figure out hers. But that night, lying in bed, I couldn't stop thinking about that baby. 18 months old, living in an apartment with no heat in winter, with a mother too exhausted and broke to provide basic stability. I didn't owe my sister anything. That was true. But the echo of my son's words kept repeating, the baby didn't make any choices. Neither had I when this all started, and yet I'd suffered anyway. The question wasn't whether my sister deserved help. She didn't. The question was who I wanted to be. She showed up at the commercial kitchen on a Tuesday afternoon. I was assembling a 3-tier cake when I heard the door open. I looked up, expecting my delivery driver. Instead, my sister stood in the doorway, baby on her hip. She looked worse than at the grocery store. Thinner, dark circles like bruises. The baby was fussy, pulling at her hair. She wore a jacket too thin for the weather, hands shaking. Hi, she said, voice small. I set down my piping bag. What are you doing here? I need to talk to you. I'm working. Please. Just 5 minutes. My son was in the back, probably listening. 2 minutes, I said. She shifted the baby higher. He was whining, reaching for something. She looked around the kitchen, the professional equipment, the organized workspace, and her face crumpled. I need help, she said simply. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? Something. Anything. She was crying now. I know I don't deserve it. I know what I did was unforgivable. But I'm desperate. I have nowhere else to go. You have Mom and Dad. They're already covering my rent. They can't do more. Get a better job. I'm trying. I have 2 jobs already. 70 hours a week. It's still not enough. The baby started crying louder. She bounced him absently, staring at me with desperate eyes. I'm sorry, she said. I'm so sorry for everything. For the affair, for the sabotage, for choosing him over you. I was jealous and bitter and cruel. Okay, I said again. Can you say something else? Please. What do you want me to say? That it's okay? It's not. That I forgive you? I don't. Then what? I don't have anything to say to you. You destroyed my life deliberately. You laughed about it. And now you want what? Sympathy? Money? Help, she whispered. I just need help. I needed help too when you were sabotaging my business. When I was eating cereal for dinner. When my son abandoned me because you manipulated him. Where were you? I know. I'm a horrible person. Knowing it doesn't change anything. She was quiet then, just holding the crying baby. He's just a baby, she said finally. He didn't do anything wrong. Neither did I. But you're okay now. She gestured around. You made it. I'm drowning. We're drowning. Because of your choices. I know. Her voice rose. The baby cried harder. I know it's my fault, but he deserves food and heat and stability. He deserves better. I looked at the baby, crying, reaching for his mother's face. Please, she said. A loan, a job, anything. I'm 8 months behind on rent. We're going to be evicted next week. Then maybe you should have thought about that before you tried to destroy my business. You're right. But please don't punish him for what I did. Then she said it, he's almost your nephew too, you know. He's your son's brother. He has your ex-husband's blood. That makes him almost family. I stared at her. Almost family? I just mean. You want me to help you raise the child you had with the man who cheated on me? You think that's a compelling argument? When you put it like that. How else would I put it? She was crying harder. I thought maybe you'd care about him even if you don't care about me. I don't care about either of you. You made sure of that. My son appeared in the doorway. He looked at his aunt, at his baby brother, then at me. My sister saw him. Please. You understand, don't you? You know what it's like to realize you made a mistake. You came back. Your mom let you come back. Can't you convince her? No, he said quietly. But he's your brother. And you tried to destroy my mother, he said. After you already destroyed her once. You don't get to ask us for anything. My sister's face collapsed. She made a sound like a wounded animal. The baby was screaming. You need to leave, I said. I have nowhere to go. That's not my problem. He'll end up in foster care. If I lose the apartment, they'll take him. Is that what you want? What I want, I said carefully, is for you to leave my business and never come back. She stood there for another moment, swaying, the baby screaming. Then she turned and walked out. Through the window, I watched her get into a car that looked like it might not start. It did eventually. She drove away. My son was still in the doorway. That was brutal, he said finally. Yes, I agreed. Do you feel bad? I don't know, I said honestly. Ask me tomorrow. But that night, lying in bed, all I could hear was that baby screaming. And all I could see was my sister's face, desperate, destroyed, defeated. I'd won completely. She had nothing. I had everything. So why did it feel so hollow? She came back 3 days later. This time I was alone. My son was at school. The kitchen was quiet. She knocked instead of just walking in. When I opened the door, she looked even worse, like she hadn't slept in 3 days. The baby wasn't with her. Where is he? I asked. With a neighbor. I didn't want to use him to manipulate you again. Okay. She stood there. Finally, I'm not here to beg this time. Then why are you here? I need you to hear me before I go. You have 5 minutes. She took a breath. You were always better than me at everything. School, work, life. You made things look easy. I struggled with everything, and you just succeeded. And I hated you for it. I know. No, you don't. You don't understand how deep it went. Every single thing you accomplished felt like a personal attack. Your job, your marriage, your house, all of it felt like you were rubbing my face in how much better you were. That's not my problem, I said. I know. But I need you to understand why I did what I did. It wasn't just about wanting what you had. It was about needing to prove I could take it. That I could win for once. You didn't win. You destroyed both of us. I know that now. But when I was doing it, it felt like power. Like finally, I was the one who mattered. I leaned against the door frame. Is that supposed to make me feel sorry for you? No. It's supposed to make you understand that I'm not asking you to help me because I think I deserve it. I'm asking because I've learned something you apparently haven't. What's that? That revenge doesn't actually fix anything. You're right, I destroyed your life. But you watching me suffer doesn't undo any of that. It just means we're both damaged. Except I'm not suffering, I said. I rebuilt. I won. Did you? She looked at me steadily. Because from where I'm standing, you look just as bitter as I was. Just as consumed. You say you've moved on, but you're still so angry you can't even help an innocent child. Don't you dare make this about morality, I said, voice cold. You don't get to lecture me. You're right. But somebody needs to tell you that this coldness, this cruelty, it's turning you into me. The version of me I was when I hurt you. No, I said firmly. I'm nothing like you. Aren't you, though? You're using your power over me exactly the way I used mine over you. You're enjoying my suffering the way I enjoyed yours. How is that different? Because I earned this. You tried to steal it. And now you're using what you earned to punish me. To make me pay. Just like I used what I had to hurt you. I destroyed you because I was jealous and insecure. You're destroying me because you're angry and hurt. The motivations are different, but the result is the same. Someone suffers. What do you want from me? I asked, exhausted. Nothing. I'm done asking. I just wanted you to know that I finally understand what I took from you. And I wanted you to understand what you're choosing to become. I'm choosing to protect myself. No. You're choosing revenge. And it's your right. But don't pretend it's something else. You're actively choosing to let me fall. You deserve to fall. Maybe. Probably. But he doesn't. My son, he doesn't deserve any of this. And you know that. You're choosing to let it happen anyway. He's not my responsibility. No, he's not. But you could help him anyway. You could be better than I was. You could break the cycle. Why should I? Because you're supposed to be the good one, she said simply. You're the one who works hard and makes good choices and doesn't hurt people. But if you let a baby suffer just to make me pay, then what does that make you? I felt something crack in my chest. Anger, hot and bright. You don't get to do this. You don't get to make me the villain. I'm not. You're the hero. I'm the villain. I accept that. But every hero has a choice, be better than the villain, or become one themselves. Get out, I said. I'm going. I just needed you to hear it first. She turned to leave, then looked back. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. Not because I want something. Just because it's true. I destroyed the best person in my life because I couldn't stand how good she was. She walked away, got in her car, drove off. I stood in the doorway for a long time. That night, my son asked if she'd come back. Yes. What did she want? To make me feel guilty. Did it work? I thought about it. I don't know. He was quiet. Then, I think she's right about one thing. The baby didn't do anything wrong. And we could help him without helping her. How? I don't know. But there has to be a way, right? Maybe. But I'm not ready to think about that yet. When will you be ready? I don't know that either. But I thought about it for days. About my sister's words, about my son's question, about the screaming baby and the desperate woman and the choice I was making. She was right about one thing. I was choosing. Actively, deliberately choosing to let them fall. And I had to decide if I could live with that choice. If I could look at myself and still see someone I respected. If winning was worth becoming the person I'd always hated. I didn't have an answer yet. But I was starting to suspect what it might be. And that terrified me. I didn't help her. That needs to be clear from the start. I didn't pay her rent, didn't offer her a job, didn't rescue her from the consequences of her choices. But I did make one phone call to a social worker I knew through a customer. I explained the situation vaguely, a single mother struggling, baby at risk. Did they have resources? She gave me a list. Food assistance, housing vouchers, subsidized daycare, legal aid for child support enforcement. I left a printed copy in an envelope at my parents' house. Didn't sign it. Just the resources. What she did with them wasn't my responsibility. A month later, my mother called. Did you leave those papers? What papers? The resources for your sister. I don't know what you're talking about. She was quiet. Then, thank you. I didn't do anything. I hung up. The business kept growing. We opened a third location. My son graduated high school and took a gap year to work full-time with me. He was good at it now. He had ideas, energy, vision. We were building something real together. I heard through my parents, who I spoke to maybe once every few months, polite and distant, that my sister had avoided eviction. She'd gotten into a housing program, enrolled her son in subsidized daycare. Still struggling, but no longer drowning. Good for the baby's sake. I didn't reach out. The bridge between us didn't exist anymore. There was nothing to rebuild. My ex-husband married his third wife. My son showed me photos, but I felt nothing. He looked older, tired. The woman looked young and excited. I wondered how long before he got bored of her too. Do you ever think about him? My son asked one evening. No. He's not worth the mental energy, I replied honestly. Do you hate him? I don't feel anything about him at all, I said. That's better than hate, my son observed. My parents got older. My mother had a health scare and asked to see me, to make peace. I went, not because I'd forgiven them, but because I was no longer angry enough to refuse. We were wrong, my father said when we sat down. We should have supported you. Yes, you should have, I agreed. Can you forgive us? My mother asked. I thought about it carefully. Maybe eventually. But right now? No. What can we do? She pressed. Nothing. We're polite, we're civil, but we're not close. And maybe we never will be again. My mother cried. I didn't. 6 months later, we did a photo shoot for a local magazine. The headline read, "From Rock Bottom to Rising Star, a local baker's success story." They wanted the full narrative, betrayal, struggle, comeback. I gave them a carefully edited version. The article came out beautifully, and orders flooded in. One evening, I received a direct message from my sister, our first direct contact in 3 years. I saw the article. You didn't mention me by name. Thank you. I stared at the message for a moment, then blocked her. My son saw me do it. Was that her? Yes. What did she want? To thank me for not destroying her reputation. Are you going to respond? No. There's nothing to say. That's when I realized it was truly over, not because I'd forgiven her or because she'd suffered enough, but because I'd stopped caring. She was just a person now, someone I used to know, someone who'd hurt me but no longer occupied space in my mind. The business continued thriving. 4 locations now. My son applied to college for business management. So when you're ready to retire, I can take over, he said with a grin. I'm not retiring, I protested. Not yet. But someday. I looked at him, almost 19 now, confident, capable, genuinely kind. You're already ready, I told him. On the 3rd anniversary of that terrible Tuesday afternoon when everything fell apart, I realized I'd forgotten the exact date. It had just been another day. That's when I knew I'd truly won. Not because my sister was suffering. Not because I'd built something successful, but because her actions no longer defined my life. I posted that evening a picture of one of our cakes with a caption, "Fresh starts aren't about forgetting the past. They're about proving to yourself that you're worth more than others tried to make you believe." Thousands of likes flooded in, along with comments from people sharing their own stories of rebuilding after betrayal, of surviving, of finding themselves after devastating loss. "You helped a lot of people, Mom," my son said. "I just told the truth. That's enough sometimes." We closed the kitchen that night, working side by side in comfortable silence. Outside, the city moved on with its endless rhythm. But inside our space, everything felt solid, real, and completely mine. The best revenge wasn't making them suffer. It was living so well that their opinions stopped mattering, building a life so full that their absence became irrelevant. My sister was out there somewhere, still struggling with the consequences of her choices. My ex-husband was probably already bored with wife number 3. My parents were aging, regretting their decisions too late to fix them. And me? I was here, working, building, living. Not perfect, not completely healed, but whole enough, strong enough, free enough. The peace I'd found wasn't forgiveness. It was indifference. And that turned out to be so much better.